Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Mike's DVDs and Blu-rays collection. And I'm your host Mike. The name says it all, Mike. And guys out there, if you watch my channel, you know that I'm always trying to put together some interesting video collections to show you guys. I don't want to just show you the newest releases that come out off the shelves of Best Buy and Walmart and just offer up just any old thing that comes out. You can expect that from other channels, but for my channel, I'm going to put together some cool videos for you guys to check out. Either it's by a director or an actor or a genre. I'll put some stuff together so you guys can go out there and find these movies and hopefully, you know, become a fan of the movies like I am. So get my cat out of the way. He's over there. So anyways, guys, today I'm going to spotlight a director and one particular movie that I got everything all mixed up today. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm going to spotlight a director and a movie. Now this is February as I film this, and I was trying to think, it's like, what should I do some stuff for Black History Month? You know, should I put together something movie related, a salute to some of the best black actors, black directors, or black centric movies? So, and I have plenty of those movies. It's just putting them all together and trying to figure out what to do and try not to be boring. I want you guys to watch these videos and be, you know, informed and entertained at the same time. So I thought about a director. Now this is a movie that when did I see this? It came out in 1989. And I guess maybe I saw it around the time it came out on home video. But I do definitely remember seeing it in like 91 or something. I think that's when I finally saw it. I think we rented it, or maybe it was before that. I don't know. I'm trying to think of where I was living at, where we were living at the time. But yeah, it was somewhere around in there. And I saw it because I remember seeing that and The Killer, the John Woo movie, rented that on VHS around the same time. So I remember, that's a distinct memory. I mean, The Killer, one of my favorite movies by John Woo. But the movie I'm talking about is Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. It's a movie that has so much style. I mean, without being, you know, a byproduct of the 80s. This came out in 1989. You know, everything was transitioning into a new decade. You know, this was right before the, you know, Rodney King stuff happened, before the OJ stuff started happening. This was right as we're moving into a new decade, and Spike Lee, you know, was one of the hottest directors at the time. He was the hope. He was the future, and he was also a black filmmaker. So a lot of attention was put on Spike Lee at the time. His first movie came out, She's Gotta Have It, around 1986, and then he did in 1988 he did gosh, what's that movie called? I have it. I can't think of it. I'll put the name down here, maybe. And then it was time for his third film. There was a lot of things, a lot of, you know, this is going to be the big budget. This is going to be the big budget Universal movie, and everything. So great movie. One of the first things that hits me about this movie is the cinematography. The cinematography. Ernest Dickerson started out with Spike Lee. He moved on to being a director a little bit later. But Ernest Dickerson really has an eye on this film. He worked closely with Spike Lee to get the visual, get the colors right, the heat. You know, the heat. This takes place during the summer. They want to get just the sweat, the heat, the hot asphalt. The concrete is burning hot. This is one of the hottest days of the summer. This basically tells the tale of basically one day, maybe 2 days, roughly, in the life of this community. It's a community of a lot of brownstone houses. It's got they got their kind of a little local radio stations right there. They got the pizza. They got Sal's Pizza, where a lot of this stuff's that's gonna be the epicenter of this movie. Sal's Pizzeria in this movie, and but he captures the colors. I mean, it opens up with Rosie Perez dancing to Public Enemy's "Fight the Power." I mean, it's perfectly framed. He's totally using the frame. I'm gonna go with 185, I believe, and it's got kind of a maybe a painted background, or a photo, it looks like a blown up photo of some brownstone, some houses, and Rosie Perez is dancing. The colors are changing. It's showing all the diversity, the lights, and the music is pumping, and then we open up with everybody's starting their day. Spike Lee's waking up. He's a delivery boy for Sal's Pizza. It shows him getting up, basically, walking through the neighborhood. It's showing all the different characters kind of getting up, starting their day. The radio station's talking, telling you it's going to be a hot day today. It's got the great Ossie Davis in there. He kind of plays the character named the Mayor. He's kind of a older, wiser guy that looks like he's had a lot of trouble in his life, and he's kind of I guess he's an alcoholic. I'm gonna read off some of the names in here, and then you got Sal, who's played by Danny it's like, how can I not say his name? Ileo. Danny Aiello. Why can't I say his name? It's like I've known it forever. It's got Ruby Dee, plays the character Mother's sister. She's kind of a wise woman who basically kind of watches the neighborhood all day. Just kind of stares out her window and kind of drinks her coffee and just kind of watches everything. She's kind of the be-all of, just the eye of the neighborhood. She knows what goes on because she sees it. You got Vito, played by Richard Edson, who's Sal's son. Bugging Out is one of Spike Lee's friends, one of the guys in the neighborhood, played by Giancarlo Esposito. Spike Lee plays Mookie. It's got John Turturro as Pino, who's also Sal's older son. John Savage plays a guy named Clifton. We got Robin Harris, the late Robin Harris. He was a comedian of the 80s. And he died tragically in the early 90s, but he was really part of the big comic boom of the 80s, because I remember in the late 80s, like, comedians were just everywhere. Like, everybody had a comedian show, people doing stand-up and stuff. Being a stand-up comic was hot, and he was one of the big comics that kind of broke out during that time. We got the character named Jade, who's played by Spike Lee's real life sister, Jolie Lee. Tina, who's basically Mookie's baby's mama, ex-girlfriend, on and off, whatever, kind of person, played by Rosie Perez. We got, a very early role for Samuel Jackson. He plays the radio DJ. And we also got a young Martin Lawrence who plays a character named Lee. He's one of the people in the neighborhood, one of the people hanging out. Young, I guess he's supposed to be like a young guy, maybe not quite a teenager, but but yeah, basically that. But yeah, like I said, produced, written, and directed by Spike Lee. This came out in 1989. The co-producer was Monty Ross. He was a pretty interesting producer at that time. Ernest Dickinson Dickerson did the cinematography, as I already said. Original music score was done by Spike Lee's father, Bill Lee, who was an accomplished jazz artist who did some stuff like that. But anyways, it's 120 minutes and 2 hours, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the movie. I don't want to just sit here and rehash and tell you the movie, scene for scene or something like that. But I'm going to show you what I watched. I pulled this edition out to watch. It came out on Criterion Bluray a few years ago. There's a real pretty nice edition of it, and I may upgrade for that because I don't have a Blu-ray of Do the Right Thing, so I may get that. But what I watched it on was the 1995 release by Criterion, the Criterion Collection of the Laserdisc, which is really nice. I mean, it's a really, really beautiful release. It's got, some photos from the movie. It's got a lot of the characters here. But yeah, I watched the Laserdisc transfer of it, which is, it's a Laserdisc transfer. So we're talking maybe we're looking at maybe a 720. I think my TV upscaled it to about 720. So it wasn't like sharp, but I remember it, always watching it, and it seemed like it had grain and stuff in it. It kind of had it wasn't a super sharp movie. It was always kind of had some grain, a little bit of almost fuzz through it. It's hard to the look of the film. It's not a clear, sharp image. It's a, it almost looks like you can see the humidity in the film. It's almost like they filmed it to show how hot this neighborhood was at the time, just the heat, and maybe that's what they were going for. I like to think that that's what they were going for, and that's why it looks like it does. But yeah, this was released in '95. This is a 3-disc set. What's really cool about this, it's got a whole disc of special features. It's got an hour-long documentary on it that was made during the filming. It's got audio commentary by Spike Lee, Ernest Dickinson. It's got some clips and stuff from some of Spike Lee's short films he made. Stuff like that. It's got some behind photos and stuff like that, which you would expect. But yeah, it was filmed in a 1:8:5 ratio. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it opens up. It's got some big photos. Wipe some of that dust off. It's been sitting. But yeah, it's a pretty nice gatefold. I don't know if I can show that whole thing there, but anyways, guys, that's what I watched it on. I thought I'd pull out my Laserdisc and watch it because it's such a cool addition. And I also have a DVD version of it from Criterion. Now, this was they put this out in 2001, so this was kind of coming up on the 10-year anniversary of Do the Right Thing. So I got this edition of it. This is kind of one of these are the early DVDs of Criterion when it first came out, and it's kind of a thick case. It's a two disc set, and basically, I'm going to say the transfer is probably the same as the Laserdisc transfer. I mean, they're going to pop up the image a little bit, but I don't think it's a new transfer. I don't think it's a new restoration or anything. As far as extra stuff, it's got basically the same stuff from the Laserdisc, except it's got a Public Enemy video, Fight the Power, that Spike Lee directed. It's got a Cannes Film Festival conference, press conference. It's got a video interview with the editor, Barry Brown, and then it's got some TV spots and trailers and photo galleries and stuff like that. So it's got a little bit of extra, but it's basically the same transfer. I want to make sure they didn't say, but yeah, it was the same transfer. I mean, they're doing a different digital transfer to DVD, supervised by Ernest Dickerson. But yeah, in a nutshell, guys, what we're looking at, Do the Right Thing. The hottest day of the year explodes on screen in this vibrant look at a day in the life of Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, featuring a stellar ensemble cast that includes Danny Aiello, see, I almost said it that time, Ossie Davis, Ruby Dee, Richard Edson, Giancarlo Esposito, Robin Harris, Samuel L. Jackson, Bill Nunn, Rosie Perez, and John Turturro. Spike Lee's powerful portrait of an urban racial tension sparked controversy while earning popular critical praise. And this is a new director-approved transfer of the movie on DVD. Now, before I had this, I had the regular DVD Universal release of it, which I still have, but you know the artwork. But I don't have it on Blu-ray yet. So my only thing was not getting the Blu-ray yet was because I had these, and it has a lot of the same stuff. And but I think they did a new transfer for the Blu-ray and stuff. I think they cleaned it up and everything. And that was more for the 20th anniversary. 20th anniversary of the movie and everything. But yeah, but like I described, this is the day that's so hot. And they say in New York, you know, on the hottest days, somebody's going to get killed. Somebody's going to get shot. That's just how it happens in the neighborhoods, you know, and stuff. You know, I've heard that a lot in different stuff, documentaries, and read different things. And it's a saying, you know, they say that because, you know, everybody's just to the boiling point, you know. So with that said, yeah, it sparked the racial tension of the neighborhood. I mean, the neighborhood is a kind of a melting pot of different people. You have the Korean shop owners of the little local grocery store. You got some white people, some scattered white people. You got mostly black people, black African American citizens. And then you got Sal's Pizzeria, which, you know, Italian owned. And I think one of the things that kind of starts all this is when Giancarlo Esposito walks in into the pizzeria. You know, he wants to get a slice. He's giving Sal a hard time. Starts eating his slice. He's looking at the wall. There's only Italian Americans on the wall. You know, famous ones like Frank Sinatra and, you know, famous Italians, you know, up to that point in 1989. So he starts kind of questioning this. It's like, why is there no black people on this wall? It's like, this is a black neighborhood, and black people support your business, and why is there no black people on this wall? And, you know, and he was just mad. He was just, you know, and Sal's trying to, you know, calm it down, trying to diffuse it a little bit. You know, the brothers were kind of like, hey, what's going on? One of the brothers really of Sal really gets along with everybody. The other one is kind of more high-strung, probably racist, and Sal, I think, tolerates everything. And you know, even if he is racist, he kind of keeps it to himself. I think deep down he you know, he supports everything. But I think the younger son is kind of like, I hate. You know, like it opens up when they're opening up the pizzeria at the beginning of the movie. He's just like, I hate this place. I hate coming to this place every morning. I hate pizza. I hate just all this. You know, and Sal's like, well, if you hate all this, then go do something better. If you think you can do better than what I've established, this business, successful business, then you go do something else. But of course, you know, it's kind of like, nah. You know he's not going to do it, so he works for his dad, which he'll probably eventually inherit the pizzeria, and that's that. But yeah, it kind of starts there. There's a character in the movie, Radio Raheem. I don't know if is he in here, Radio Raheem? Yeah, it's played by Bill Nunn. Bill Nunn, the character Radio Raheem, he's got a huge stereo. Typical of the 80s, like the breakdancing scene, the big, huge radio. You know, he starts getting irritated because, you know, he needs batteries. He goes to the Korean shop. They don't have enough batteries for him. He's mad. Why do you not have enough batteries? I need D-size batteries. He needs like 12 D-size batteries for his big box and stuff. So you start seeing little things are starting to happen. You know, people are getting angry here. They're getting angry over here. You know, Spike Lee's trying to do his job. He's trying to keep his baby mama happy. He's trying to make some money because he wants to get out of the neighborhood. But for the most part, he's kind of torn between what's going on in the neighborhood and representing Sal's Pizzeria, because, you know, they're both in there. You know, he's trying to do both. He's trying to, you know, but basically, you know, violence erupts. You know, there's just a bunch of stuff. Everybody's just going wild in the neighborhood. I mean, they're throwing trash cans through windows. They're setting fire. They're turning cars over. This whole block just erupts, and it turns into a bad scene. You know, it's almost like something reminiscent of, you know, we see on the news now that happens almost every day. You know, something happens and the people of that particular area just go, you know, protest it. They just go wild and let off. But I think, you know, it's just the tension. You see the tension build, and then all of a sudden it's just like boom, it goes off. And after a night of all this stuff, you know, violence happening and everything, the next day it's like a sober look, you know, at everything. It opens very softly, very music score builds, you know. Sal's looking at his restaurants have been destroyed. He's going to try to sweep up and try to fix it up, and, you know, and everybody's trying to fix up what happened last night. It's almost like some of them are ashamed that it happened, you know, or they took part in it. A lot of the main people that, you know, instigated it are nowhere to be found. It's just what's left is the damage done to the people who's built the neighborhood and made it what it is. You know, Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee and Danny Aiello. See, I can't say it. But anyways, guys, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you haven't seen this movie, check it out. It's really good. I mean, I think it's just as current as it is right now with what's going on in the world. If anything, things have gotten worse. You know, if you want to measure this neighborhood to what things are going on now, maybe we just see more of it go on in the news. But see, back then this was a controversial movie because he was talking about race. He was talking about, you know, black people getting mad. You know, in 1989, that was very controversial. You know, Spike Lee was kind of militant about it. You know, he was just like, hey, you know, this is what it is. And a lot of people didn't like it because of that, because he said it like it is. But it's a great movie, guys. You know, love it or hate it, whatever side of the fence you stand on, political beliefs or anything, it's a movie that really gets down to human nature and everything. And it kind of boils down to, we're all just humans. We get angry. Stuff happens, you know. You know, the real root of the problem has been deep rooted, you know, for generations and stuff. But yeah, it's a great movie. I would recommend, you know, getting the Blu-ray, the Criterion Blu-ray or something. But if you can find this, I got this because it was cool. I mean, it had somebody put the sticker on it already that came off the wrapper and everything. So I got that real cheap one day. I've had this for years. But yeah, check this movie out. It's really good. It's one of Spike Lee's best movies for sure, if not his top movie. I mean, it's just his movie that was firing on all cylinders. You know, music, the look, the acting, the script, everything came together perfectly. Now, he's done a lot of good movies, but I would say he may be best known for Do the Right Thing sometimes. But he's done a lot of good movies. I'm going to also watch Malcolm X, which is the movie he did after this in 1992, which we're coming up on the 30th anniversary of that movie. and Denzel Washington's role in that. So I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna rewatch it to kind of freshen it up. It's a long movie. I'll probably do a video on that next. But this is my first video, kind of saluting black directors, black actors, because it's definitely a movie that's got some of the best black actors in it. You know, at that time, it's kind of got a combination of the new up and coming stars, and it's got some the big, you know, you got the Ossie Davis, and then you got the Martin Lawrence. I mean, Martin Lawrence was about to explode and be TV series and movies and everything. So there you go, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Comment. What do you think about this movie? What do you think about Spike Lee in general? I mean, do you think he just looks for trouble sometimes, looks for controversy? Or do you think controversy follows him? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, he puts it out there real and stuff, and it can be took that way. But let me know what you think about Spike Lee and the acting and stuff in this movie. Is really good. And then don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already subscribed. And that's about it, guys. So I will see you guys again on the next episode. Take care. Watch good movies. Watch Do the Right Thing. And I will see you later.